Do you notice pain on the ball of your foot, maybe after standing for a while or walking for a while? You may even notice some numbness and tingling and some weird sensation right there. This could be something called metatarsalgia. Right at the ball of your foot is where the metatarsals meet. Here, if you don't have proper mobility, if you don't have proper toe strength, or maybe even if you have big toe arthritis, you can put more stress on the ball of your foot, which can lead to pain, especially when you're weight bearing, standing, walking, etc. So in this video, I'm going to show you my top 3 movements to help take the stress off of the ball of your foot and help walking, standing, weight bearing movements become much more comfortable. My name is Alyssa. I'm a physical therapist and I specialize in helping people with arthritis. Now, metatarsalgia is actually something that can happen if you have big toe arthritis. I just posted a video on big toe arthritis recently. I'm going to put the link down below. So make sure you check that out as well, because the way that your big toe moves really can drive the amount of pain that you feel in the ball of your foot. If your big toe is stiff, if you have something called hallux rigidus or hallux limitus, meaning stiffness of the big toe, then it can put a lot more stress through the ball of your foot. The first movement is actually just assessing how your big toe is moving, because we want to make sure that it's moving properly. If it isn't, then we can go to the other movements that are really going to help the big toe. So really, if you can get into this crossed figure 4 position, this can be helpful. What I'd like you to do is just try to move your big toe. And I want you to try to move it towards your foot first and see how much movement you get there. So we're moving it this way, towards. It doesn't need to be like totally up and down, but you do at least want a decent amount of motion without significant pain, because this is what helps push you off when you're walking. So we want to check there, and then what you can also do is stretch it the other way by pushing down on the big toe. You're not going to have as much movement this way, but you can also feel a stretch through here as well. But you do want, again, some decent mobility. You don't want to hit much stiffness. You don't want to feel like you're hitting like a block. Some nice motion in both directions. If you're feeling a lot of stiffness or your toe just really doesn't move much beyond this point, then I would highly recommend going to check out that big toe video, because that's going to give you some specific big toe movements. You have to be able to get that big toe moving in order to take that pressure off of the ball of your foot. Now, the second one, I like to use a softer surface like a foam pad. This is just a workout mat. I'll put a link down below just so you can have some give. When you're pressing into the floor, you can certainly do this next movement I'm going to show you, but it's a little bit easier to get some more range of motion if you have a softer surface. A pillow can work. You can probably find something around your house. But with this workout mat, what I want you to do, feet are just about shoulder width apart, underneath your knees, and I want you to spread your toes apart. Spread them apart just as much as you can. And then you're going to take all of your toes and push them into the floor at about 50% effort. This is certainly not something you're going to do as hard as you can, okay? You're pushing at about 50% effort, and I want you to think about if your hands were doing the same thing. Your hands are spread out and then they're pushing into a surface. Your feet are doing the same thing. Keep your full foot on the floor, so keep your heel on the floor in particular. We're not coming up like this. And just press into the floor for about 5 to 10 seconds. Try to get each toe to touch the floor, flat on the floor, and then push. And then relax. You don't need to like curl your toes up or anything, just relax. Spread them apart and then push into the floor. There's been some recent research studies bringing up a very interesting topic of toe grip strength. So we think about grip strength in our hands, but actually toe grip strength can be really helpful to develop when it comes to reducing metatarsalgia, or pain from metatarsalgia. So what you want to try to do is work those toes into the floor and then rest to really start to build up that toe grip strength. Trying anywhere between 5 to 10 repetitions at first. You're holding for about 5 to 10 seconds. Now this should not cause significant pain. If it does, what you can do is focus on one foot at a time, because likely you're going to put less pressure if you're just doing one foot at a time, versus if you're doing both, you're likely going to put more pressure through. Not that more pressure is necessarily a bad thing, you just want your body to, and your feet to be prepared for it. So if you want to just start with one foot at a time, that can be helpful. Then you can bump up from 5 to 10 to 10 to 15, upwards to 20. You can do this when you're watching TV a couple of times a day. It can really start to be helpful to develop that toe grip strength. And lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to use a dish towel. I'm going to lay it in front of me and put both feet on top. This is again building off of that toe grip strength. You're working on gripping those toes. So what we're going to do now is you're going to squeeze up and relax. Squeeze up and relax. One thing you want to avoid doing is allowing your feet to come totally off of the ground, okay? You want to try to keep your toes low to the ground and keep your heel on the floor. Squeeze. And then I want you to hold this end position, that squeezing motion, for that 5 to 10 seconds again. And then you're gonna flatten them back out. I want you to think first about pressing your toes into the floor and then squeezing them up. That's going to work those toe muscles a little bit more. Hold for that 5 to 10 seconds and then relax. And then we'll try one more. Push your toes into the floor. Squeeze those toes up. Hold for that 5 to 10 seconds and then rest. Now, if you're noticing a big difference side to side, meaning maybe the right side is a lot stiffer than the left, I would recommend doing this one foot at a time so you can really focus on getting the quality. So you can keep both feet on the towel, just really focusing on curling up those toes 1 foot at a time. But if your feet feel relatively the same, maybe they both feel stiff or they both feel pretty good, then you can do both at the same time. 5 to 10 repetitions here as well should not cause significant pain. If it does, you might not be ready for this movement quite yet. You can also just try to reduce the range of motion by just doing little curls like this. And then really start to work on curling them all the way in. That can also be a modification if you don't have a ton of mobility in your feet. That could be one thing of just working on those little curls. You can increase to 10, upwards of 15 repetitions. Again, a couple of times a day as you're sitting watching TV. This one is probably best done sitting, but you can progress to standing once you've mastered this, meaning you can do 10 to 15 repetitions at least 2 to 3 times a day. No soreness, no significant pain, none of that. I hope these 3 movements are helpful for you, and I hope that they start helping your feet feel better. It is possible. We have to take action. You really have to take care of your feet. If you want to come hang out with me for more arthritis tips and tricks so you can not only find pain relief, but also unlock adventure again, make sure you hit that red subscribe button below. Thanks for watching.